I cut my siblings off after they ruined our family just because I broke up with my girlfriend. I'm 22 and my ex is 23, and my ex and I dated for about almost 3 years, and I broke up with her a month ago. My ex is my brother's best friend's sister, and her family is close to us, which is why my siblings, my sister 25 and my brother 27, are angry with me, and I decided to cut them off. About 2 months ago, I confessed to my aunt that my relationship is causing me pain and I don't want to stay with her. I feel suffocated. My aunt hugged me and told me that if I want to leave, I should, and she'll find a woman for me who will suit me and my desires well. My aunt is a mother to me. She raised me more than my mom did, and I spent half of my life with her. My aunt also considers me her son. She tells everyone that I am her son, a son that she never had, and I'm grateful for it. Then my auntie introduced me to one of her friend's daughters, and I met her for the first time 2 months ago because my aunt insisted. I met her several times, but we started spending time together more and more, and I feel like she's the one. She's everything that I ever wanted. She's traditional, she's not that educated, but she's loving and charming and understands me well. So, a month ago, I broke up with my ex, and she tried to get back with me, but I refused because I found someone else. But a week ago, my ex found out that I left her for another woman and went crazy. She told everyone in our family the truth, and my siblings were angry. They called me and lectured me about how I'm in the wrong, and I'm hurting my ex by leaving her for a ridiculous reason, and at one point I used to love her so much I wouldn't stop talking about her. I got angry and said that my life is none of their business, and why do they care what I do anyway? I told them that I'm cutting them off and going to live with my aunt. When my mom heard me, she got furious and told me that I'm not going anywhere, and I said I am leaving because my aunt cares more about me than you all. All you care about is my ex anyway. My mom got even more angry and called my aunt, cussed her out, and screamed at her. She said that she stole her son and she should stay out of my life. I left right away and I'm living with my aunt, and we both are happy. But my siblings and mom are telling me to come back. Am I in the wrong if I don't go back to them and get married without even informing them? Am I in the wrong for kicking my sister out of my house for telling my husband he's so lucky to be rich? My husband lost both of his parents when he was 17. Their deaths were preventable and others died alongside them, and because of this, a lawsuit followed, and at a young age, my husband found himself orphaned but wealthy. But I think that we can all understand that this money wasn't some great thing he celebrated because it came at a huge loss for him, his parents. We met a few years after he was awarded the money, and we got married after dating for 4 years. We're now proud parents to our 3 kids, and we have a stable life. We're very comfortable, and few know exactly how much my husband actually has. He's very smart with his money and not only invests, but looks to our future and the future of each of our children. We both still work very hard, but the money means that we're also very fortunate. My family, parents and sister, are aware that my husband's parents are dead. They also know about the lawsuit and that the money was paid to the family members. They have no idea how much my husband has. Not my parents and definitely not my sister, but they know and were told how he'd give it all away to have his parents back, which is why I reacted so strongly when my sister made the comments she did. We had family over for dinner. My sister mentioned wanting to bring her boyfriend for any future dinners, and everyone was talking about that. Then my sister mentioned wanting to go away with her boyfriend for the weekend and how they were saving up to go. She said it was a big step because they were also talking about moving in with each other. My husband mentioned we had gone to the place they were talking about going to and they'd have a great time. She said she hoped so, but she wouldn't have the same kind of money he does. He told her that we did nothing fancy there, which is 100% true. My parents wanted to know when they were thinking of moving in together. Things were going fine. Then, my sister out of nowhere said to my husband the least he could do was offer them money for the weekend away since he could afford it. I shut her down, saying she wasn't entitled to other people paying for her trips with her boyfriend. My sister responded that he could afford to send them for a month if he wanted to. My husband told her that was a big ask, and she snapped at him and said that he had no idea how lucky he was to be rich because she'd give anything to have that kind of money. The insensitivity of the comment enraged me and told my sister that she needed to leave. I made sure to get her ass out of the door too because I wasn't tolerating that bullshit. My sister has told me almost every day since that I overreacted and throwing her out was over the top. I told her that I don't want to hear anything but a sincere apology from her to my husband, and until that point, she can stay out of my house. My husband said I didn't need to stand by that, and he didn't want to come between us. I told him he wasn't coming between us. She was. So, am I in the wrong for my actions, and am I being too harsh here? A young, ambitious woman with a bright future ahead of her left for basic training only to come back 8 weeks later just shy of her 20th birthday in a body bag, mutilated and unrecognizable to her family. Soldiers passing away isn't new and is an unfortunate reality for many. However, the circumstances around her death are horrifying. This is the story of Lavina Johnson. She was the first female soldier from Missouri to die in Iraq. Lavina was an honor roll student in high school and was excited about her future. She decided to join the military knowing that her college would be paid for this way. One morning in 2005, Dr. John Johnson, Lavina's father, gets a knock on the door from an Army sergeant and another soldier, believed to be an official public relations officer, on his doorstep. They informed him that his daughter had passed away. After initial condolences from the men, Dr. Johnson was asked to give permission for a closed casket funeral and to sign off on the decision. He refused, demanding to know the cause of her death. The military officials stated that she unalived herself but were extremely vague on how it was done. This immediately raised eyebrows for her family as she had no signs of depression or unaliving ideations. In fact, she was looking forward to seeing her family on Christmas leave. She was also in charge of a communications facility and was able to phone and email home on a daily basis just to keep her family's fears at bay. In fact, just 2 days earlier, they had spoken to Lavina. She was excited about her future, her new job on the base, and life in general. None of this was adding up. Dr. Johnson immediately started asking questions and demanded for an open casket funeral and full access to his daughter's remains for the purpose of conducting an autopsy. What her family and friends discovered was gruesome beyond belief. When they saw Lavina's remains for the first time, they were shocked to their core. She had been so mutilated that she was unrecognizable to her own family. There was no hint of the previously bubbly and beautiful woman. The army insisted that it had conducted a thorough investigation. They stated Lavina was depressed over a recent breakup and that witnesses had suggested that she might have had thoughts of unaliving herself. This claim collapsed almost immediately as her commanding officer described her as happy and healthy. Her fellow soldiers mimicked this, stating that she was upbeat, focused, and looking forward to coming home. This is when Dr. Johnson filed Freedom of Information requests, called on legislators, and launched his own investigation. Through the Freedom of Information Act, the Johnson family accidentally found a Xerox picture of a CD containing photos of the crime scene. The Army had stated that she used an M16 and passed away via a self-inflicted pew-pew wound. However, the M16 that the Army alleges Lavina used on herself was found perfectly parallel to her body, inside a burning tent that belonged to a KBR contractor. The mystery CD leaked to the family was to be the smoking gun in this investigation. The autopsy is what was the most chilling piece in this case, as it revealed the chilling truth. I can't say here, but the full story is on my YouTube, so check it out there. I tested positive for chlamydia. Me and my wife have been married since 2016, been dating since 2008, have 2 kids together, one just turned 1 last month. This past Monday, she received news from her doctor that she tested positive for chlamydia. She immediately contacted me while I was working to give me the news. She seemed very shocked. She had seen the doctor because she had been having pain down there and thought it might have been from changing tampon brands. She was given antibiotics that same day and has already started her treatment. This morning, we went together to get myself tested so that we can find out if I have it too. I've also been having symptoms of discomfort that align to a similar time frame as her, so I'm very confident that my results will show positive. During our entire relationship, I have remained faithful, so as you can imagine, it's hard for me not to want to point the finger. Since we found out, she insisted that she also remained faithful and has nothing to hide. I truly want to believe her because we've built such a beautiful life together, house, kids, friends, etc. Her theory is that it came from me, but from my previous relationship, 17 years ago, which all of the research I have done shows that it's a very small chance, if at all. Last night, I requested to look through her phone, which she agreed. She unlocked it and handed it to me immediately, but I didn't end up doing it because I felt her reaction answered my question if she had anything to hide on it. This evening, I asked her how she would feel about doing a polygraph test, and she welcomed the idea, once again stating she has no secrets and this either had to come from me being unfaithful or it lying dormant. A few months ago, she got on a new gym craze and has been really committed to it, 4 to 5 days a week. She typically will go after the kids are asleep and come home around midnight, sometimes later. Since we found out about the situation, she hasn't missed a single gym night, even on a Monday when we found out about this. Whereas I can barely keep my head straight and function, she seems to be handling it like nothing out of the ordinary. I know not everyone handles things the same, and she has told me that she goes to the gym to help her get her mind off of it, but it just seems that it's not bothering her like it is me. I have never caught her in any serious lies or had any real reason to suspect her of cheating throughout our relationship. When we have talked about this situation, she doesn't seem like she's lying. Normal eye contact, no fidgeting, no trying to change the subject, and as stated, she hasn't refused to agree to my request for further digging. I really don't know where to go from here, with or without a positive test on my end, and seeking advice on how I should move forward. Would I be in the wrong for not going to my sister's wedding because her venue is not wheelchair accessible? My 24 sister, 30 female, is getting married soon. I'm very happy for her and there are no issues between the two of us. She really wanted to get married in a specific location and she got it, which is great. But that location is pretty much not accessible to wheelchairs. I have a significant disability, paraplegia, and cannot move at all without a wheelchair, so going there would be tough. She told me that I could get carried up any stairs and then stay at the tables, but that's not something that I'm comfortable with. Getting carried is very uncomfortable and dangerous, especially when done repeatedly by someone that isn't used to it. And I really don't want to have to be carried to the toilets at a wedding full of strangers, or even worse, have an accident. Then I also wouldn't expect people to just sit with me while the celebrations are going on, but the idea of sitting there and watching for hours feels wrong. Especially that after a few hours, sitting hurts a lot and skin becomes a concern, but I wouldn't ask someone to leave the wedding just for me. I'm not upset about the fact that they picked that venue. It's their day, and I don't expect them to plan it based on my needs, but I also don't think that she understands that it's not as easy as she thinks. There are so many things that could go very wrong. I intend to get them a nice gift and propose to maybe spend quality time together afterwards or before. One of my cousins told me it's just one day and that it's very important for my sister, so I should make an effort and get out of my comfort zone. But I feel like endangering my health isn't as simple as getting out of my comfort zone. So would I be in the wrong for not going?
A girl bullied me because I was new at school. Because I couldn't finish my high school at my own school, I had to go to another school after 3 years. The first few weeks were very hard because everyone already made their friends. I wasn't the only new girl because there also was a girl transferring from another class to my new class, and for some kind of reason my classmates were scared of her. They told me she'd fought with some people the year before I came there and that it was better for me to stay away from her. I did my best to stay away from her, but after a few weeks I sat in front of her during economics class. Always had 2 friends with her who did everything for her, like some kind of minions. That day, all 3 of them sat behind me. During the entire class, they were giggling and gossiping behind my back. At some point, we had to work for ourselves and do our homework. We weren't even working for like 5 minutes, and this girl throws her pencil under my chair. So I turned around and she said, "Pick it up." I said, "What?" She said, "Pick it up." I said, "You pick it up yourself." Looked at her friends like, she's not obeying me? Never gonna believe what happened next. The girl who bullied me. Okay, so she throws her pencil under my chair and she goes, "Pick it up." So I said, "You pick it up yourself." And she said, "But it's under your chair." I was like, I'm not gonna take orders from her. So I said, "Yeah, but it's your pencil. So if you wanna have it back, you gotta pick it up yourself. Or maybe one of your friends can pick it up for you." Next to me sat one of my friends, and she was really scared of this bully girl. So she looks at me, picks up the pencil, and gives it back to her. I was like, "What are you doing?" But because of this, I made clear that she shouldn't mess with me. So for the rest of the year, she left me alone. Until we went on a trip to Berlin. From the moment I set foot on the bus, I became this girl's target again. Let's call her Lisa. So Lisa and her minions were sitting in the back of the bus together with the popular guys. They were laughing and calling my name, running up to my seat, looking at me and running back. Very weird behavior. But I wasn't in the mood to have an argument, so I just kind of let them. When we arrived in Berlin, we went to do some sightseeing with the entire class. Lisa and her 2 friends were walking behind me. All of a sudden, I felt someone touching my back, like really quick, like ticking, like this. Every time I looked behind me, they were laughing like, like that. And the girl next to me turned around and said, "Can you please stop doing that?" Lisa goes, "Huh? What? We're not doing anything." I said, "Yeah, you are. You're touching my back the entire time." "Oh, what about it? It's funny." That's when I thought, I can't take this anymore. I said, "You were getting at me since the very start. You're whispering my name and laughing behind my back, and now you're touching my back the entire time? This is just not funny." That's when the rest of the class figured out something was going on. Guys were trying to get us to fight. We were waiting for the train, and that's when one of the guys, who was supposed to be my friend, said, "Selma, calm down." "Peter, thank you so much for getting involved. The entire time they're bullying me, you're silent? And now I'm standing up for myself, you're suddenly gonna speak up?" This story is so complicated. I hope I'm telling it the right way. Let me know if you need a part 3. Get ready with me as I tell how a girl bullied me because I was new at school. Okay, so we were waiting for the train to go to the next activity, and all of a sudden, Peter got involved. I said, "Peter, thank you so much for getting involved. The entire time they're bullying me, you're silent? And the second I stand up for myself, you're gonna speak up?" I said, "Why? Peter can speak his opinion." Then the train arrived and we got into separate coupes. I was in the same coupe as a lot of the guys and the same girl who walked next to me in the beginning. Anna and her minions sat in the other coupe, so we couldn't go to each other. The train took about 15 minutes and the girl who walked next to me in the beginning was on a rant. Let's call her Sabrina. She said, "If this Lisa is gonna hit me, I'm gonna hit her back." So the guys were like, "Oh, there's gonna be a fight." And they were totally hyping her up. Like, "Yes, Sabrina, you should totally hit her." It was almost like Sabrina was thriving on the attention that she got just because of this fight. I was keeping silent, but the guys were like, "Selma, are you gonna hit her too?" I said, "No, definitely not." When we got out of the train, the guys made their own version of the story and told Lisa. Lisa thought that I was going to hit her. Lisa walked up to me and said, "Hit me, come on, I know you want it, hit me in my face." That's when it got really out of hand. We were literally standing in front of each other, screaming at each other with the entire class around us. That's when Sabrina got involved again and she said to Lisa, "With your ugly eyebrows and your fat body, you're so ugly." And I thought, stop. I'm not gonna say anything anymore. Sure, I don't like Lisa and I don't like her minions, but I would never say anything about the way someone looks. That's when the teachers came in and pulled us apart. That's when we went on to the next excursion, but it just didn't sit right with me that Sabrina made fun of the way Lisa and her minions looked. So I walked up to Lisa and her friends and I said, "Actually, I want to say something." And they said, "No, we don't want to hear anything that comes out of your mouth." I just want to say that I don't agree with Sabrina talking about the way you look. I would never say something like that, so if you feel like I said that, I want to say sorry. All of a sudden, something changed on their faces. They were like, "That's so sweet of you to say." But we were behaving rather childish, so we want to say sorry. They apologized to me?